lot of financial advisors, and I'm not going to name names, but like debt elimination coaches or whatever, that they are completely against any whole
Yeah.
life index, anything at all. Their whole strategy is if you want to use life insurance, only use it for the death benefit. So buy term insurance,
Buy
um,
term
and then go
difference.
ahead and take your money and invest it in the market, right? Um,
Yeah.
so first, like, why are they even? What's their logic there, and where are they off? Like, what's wrong with their thinking? Um, from your perspective.
Oh man. So there's a lot there. I mean, first of all, it's a scarcity mindset to think that. To think, well, here's what I'll say is, the whole utilizing life insurance just for the death benefit. I mean, the death benefit's a great part of it. Obviously, we got to be thinking about things from an intergenerational perspective, I believe. And I think biblically speaking, it's our job to leave the next generation with more than we had, more than we came into this world with. And that's, by the way, that's not just money. That's like education and financial principles and teaching them how to be good stewards of everything. Like, I think that's important. And so, there's a lot of good that comes out of some of these people that try to teach you getting out of debt and managing your cash flow a little bit better and being more responsible and not living above your means. And, I would say like that stuff is very kind of like 101, like it's very basic. Um, when it comes to like utilizing insurance, I would say the power of insurance is the ability to get your dollars to perform more than one function in your life at the same time, right? And so it's simply leverage, right? Because like I said at the beginning, life insurance companies, they're not investments. If I would say these people don't like whole life insurance, for instance, or IUL or anything, but specifically whole life I'll speak to. They don't like it because they don't understand it, right? And if they do understand it, then they're just being deceptive, right? Like in their tactics. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they just don't understand it. There's a lot of different ways to design policies, and I would say that some of these people would say, "Oh, I don't like whole life insurance because your money is not liquid until you're 15," like or something of that nature.
Right.
Like you're highly illiquid until you're 10, 12, 15 in the policy, so it makes no sense. Like I hear that, my head wants to explode because it's like we create policies where people are highly liquid. We're talking like 88 to 92% liquid year one, right? Like year one with the policy that you put in. So you got this liquidity. It replaces your emergency account. It replaces, the life insurance need. It covers that need and you have it forever, right? The biggest fallacy, and I've had the crazy part is I've had two conversations this week already, and it's only Thursday, right? Two conversations with people this week already that have term policies. They were not convertible term policies, meaning they could not be transitioned to whole life. So they were just basic, cheap term, the exact kind of policies that these people would tell you to buy. And one of them has cancer again, right? And he had cancer 6 years ago and thought he was clean, went in for a check and has cancer again, so doesn't qualify for insurance. And this person was calling up to try to put $100,000 a year into a premium, right? Successful person, can't do it, not insurable, wants to get more, is starting a family, has a couple young kids. His term insurance is about to expire, can't get more insurance.
That's horrible.
Like it's the worst, right? Like, and so this is something that had he just followed our strategies and advice, not only would his insurance on a net basis over a decade period have been cheaper doing our advice, he'd have more and it'd be guaranteed forever. Like, so and like I said, I got two stories like that this week alone. And so when you start to like live this stuff and have these conversations with people where it's like the implications of the generational effect of this it's real, like, and it really hits you. And that's why I think our job, right, is to take that responsibility on to educate people and to help people make the decisions that are best for themselves and for their family and for their goals and for their objectives. And, I always kind of say to people is like the biggest problem, I don't want to derail this conversation, but I got to say this. The biggest problem with people and their money, especially in the United States, and I can't speak to the rest of the world because I'm obviously not like culturally tapped into the rest of the world, but I can say in the United States is that the reason 95% of the people in this country are in trouble when it comes to their money. They're not on pace to be able to maintain their standard of living when they retire. So there's all sorts of uncertainty, all sorts of like just volatility that is going to be injected into people's lives. And I believe that the reason that is because your money is not in alignment with your values and beliefs. And that's what I love doing more than anything else. When people ask me what I do, I just say, hey, I help people align their money with their values and beliefs. That's all I do. Because like what I do, what you do, right, is not for everybody. Right. And we can't go into any conversation thinking we got to like fit a square peg into a round hole. Like I have no interest in trying to convince anybody of anything. But like, if you share my values, if you share my beliefs, if you kind of have similar objectives for your life, if you believe that it's your responsibility to kind of pass it on to the next generation, and like you share my values and beliefs, at least to a certain like extent, now we can have a conversation about like, okay, how do we help you actualize achieving that, right? Like, but it's got to start with the end in mind, and then you got to reverse engineer a program to get there, right? You got to reverse engineer a plan to get there. Right. And the reason I'm against the buy term and invest a difference thing is because there's no way that you can accomplish what your objectives are on a guaranteed basis by buying term insurance. It's impossible.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I think, if you agree with me that part of the problem is that because of how life insurance has been sold from an abusive standpoint, right?
Yeah.
They, rather than condone it or promote it, they just say, just don't even go there, because so many people, so many agents backed by the various companies that are promoting it this way are selling it as an alternate investment strategy.
Yeah.
Which it's not, right? It's what you said is it's a safe place to park your money, or it's an alternative saving strategy. So if anything, you should use this as an alternative saving strategy, and then from there take out or borrow from your policy to invest. And that way you have a win-win, right? Mm-hmm. You're not risking your money in the market and where it's completely exposed, because at least you have some protection with your money in the policy. Versus just taking it out of your savings account. And I try to tell people that, look, if your investment goes south and you took the money from your checking or savings, you've lost it. It's gone. There's no recuperating it at all. Right. Yep. But if your money's in your policy and you borrow from the policy and the investment doesn't go as planned, there is some salvage there. Long term, your net worth, your asset, which is the insurance and the death benefit, it can help you protect that money, right?
100%. And you can build it back. You can build that asset. It may take a little time, but you can do it. And there's no doubt. And from that perspective, there are kind of like two sides of the pendulum. There's the people that sell life insurance, and it's like highly commission focused and highly driven and highly liquid, and like that's bad. And then you got the other side that people like overhype the benefits and sell it as like a great investment and all these things that it can do for you. And like most things in life, the truth kind of lies in the middle. And that's kind of where we try to be and educate people as to, once again, there's a lot of different ways. There's literally, if you gave me enough time, I could probably come up with 100 ways that I could utilize life insurance in my life. Right. And so from that perspective, like, it's not a matter of like trying to just use this product for everything. It's a matter of figuring out like, what are your goals? What are your objectives? And how do we help you accomplish that? And if this tool can be utilized to accomplish a desired objective on a guaranteed basis, remember, my core foundational principle that I live by is I'm never going to want to tell anybody I'm sorry about this stuff. So I'm not going to create a program that is anything but putting into play. The only variable to your success is you and your ability to execute. Right. Now, that's why I only want to work with people that are very kind of like entrepreneurially spirited, that people that want to take radical self-accountability for the results in their life.
Yeah.
That's who this is for. And if you don't, then this is probably not for you. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly,
So if you could, let's talk a little bit about Life180.
Sure.
And, tell everybody, what is Life180? What is Life180 offering? I'm an agent, right? Working with you, part of your team.
Yeah.
And so I can vouch for Life 180 myself.
Yep.
And so yeah, just maybe for agents listening, what
Sure.
how can Life 180 be of value to them?
Yeah, so one of the things that inspired me to create Life 180 is that there's some companies out there that are good on product education. Not very many, but there's some that really help educate on product around different companies. Like most of the time, the challenge is like you got to focus on just one company, and it is what it is, and you kind of do what they teach you. And I obviously have a big challenge with that, right? And so Life 180 is more of an independent agency model. We work with uh, a bunch of companies. I just am a firm believer that not one company does all things well. So if you're just offering one or two companies, even, then you're not really able to serve people at a super, super high level, right? And you're not able to ever, with 100% certainty, say that you're able to like do what's absolutely in their best interest, right? And have access to all the tools at your disposal. And so we work with a bunch of different companies, all the major players in the life insurance space. We have good contracts with, and we can work with. And so our focus is to educate agents as to the internal workings of each product, what company does what better than others, and what fits, what designs, and like teach you how to do that of policies. Now, on the other side of it, it's the marketing side. Like most agents are horrible marketers, and they're not great with sales and communication. And so we are kind of a hybrid agency where my passion is to build a community of people that are out there looking to serve people, and that is all done through agents, obviously, that are licensed and going through. And so when agents come with us and they do the contracting and kind of appoint their license with us with carriers, we give them marketing training, we give them product and sales training. We give them the support, and everything that they need. I mean, it really is my main focus right now is to just help people succeed and do this in the right way. I see there's so much bad marketing going on out there, like misleading is what I mean by when I say bad.
Yeah.
Um, Going on, that I just want to create an army of people that are doing it the right way, that are actually out there to serve people, that understand what they're doing and are willing to go slow to go fast, because it's easy to do this, to kind of sell based on hype and kind of half truths and all that stuff. Like you could sell a lot more, don't get me wrong. Like if you're all about the money, and you're not about serving people, well, that's gonna, you're probably gonna be drawn to that.
Right.
But for me, I love the phrase, be willing to go slow to go fast, because you may have to go a little slower at the beginning to take your time and learn and educate, work with the right people, get the right mentorship, like all that stuff. But if you do that, it's sky's the limit. You'll accomplish so much more, because you'll build so much more trust with people. People will have more faith in you. People will share you with your information. They will edify you, because you're actually going to make an impact in people's lives, because what we do is life changing. I truly believe that. I cannot tell you how many conversations I have with them every single week where people are like, oh my gosh, I literally just prayed last night and thank God that I found you, because the information that you've given me on the last couple of meetings and how your team has helped me just organize and get, closer to my objectives. And now I have a clear path, and it's like all there, like it's life changing, And so like, to me, that's why I do it. Like it just, those are the things that, like, you have those conversations every day. You wake up every single day fired up. Like people ask me, how do I have so much energy and I create so much content and I do all this stuff? How do you do it? It's like, if you had the conversations I had every day, you'd be fired up too. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Plus you have firsthand experience, which is,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm coming from too. So I feel it, and I feel this conversation